Arthur Miller and Zach Miller are co-hosts of New York Truck Stop Radio, which airs Saturday afternoons at 1 p.m. right here on AM 970. The Answer. Arthur and Zach, good morning and great to have you here.
Good to see you.
Father,
Good
son,
morning.
Father
Thanks for
and
having us.
son. I love this, man.
Good family business we got going.
You know, and the show was like off the charts. So they said, Joe, you got to put Arthur and Zach on. How did this come about? Were you just like radio people, or just kind of happened?
No, so it's. I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead.
So what happened was, I used to work for an energy consulting company, and we put out a monthly newsletter, and I sent my father newsletters that I thought he'd find interesting, and he's like, "We should do that for trucking. We should do that for trucking in New York City." So we started the website, NewYorkTruckStop.com. That started to pick up. People here at AM 970 saw it. They called us. They said, "Hey, you guys ever think about doing a radio?" And it would, but Joe, the funny part about that is, about 2 weeks before we got the call from AM 970, I went to my dad. I said, "We got to do a podcast. We got to do a podcast. Everyone's doing podcasts now. We got to do a podcast."
Yeah.
That's where we're going. And for me, I'm an attorney, and I started out in a trucking firm as the sort of in-house safety guy, and working in New Jersey and New York, even Connecticut, and I handle a lot of tickets, from overweights, whatever, New York City parking tickets, whatever. So that's really my practice. So tickets are really advocating for people who wind up dealing with driving. It's trucking companies, for sure, because that's commerce, and thankfully they're repeat customers, but they want to keep their drivers on the road. They want to deliver their goods and whatever they have to do, and they really need the help. I certainly work with individuals, but time and again, there's so many things going on, and this has led to, this is why it's really taken off. There's so many things going on, from we'll talk about a war on cars and Easy Pass violations and New York City parking tickets, of course. And
it's a great point that you make. It's an assault on the middle class, on the working person.
Thank you.
Because
Yes.
as we chat now in the morning, 7:47 in the morning on this Tuesday morning, there's so many drivers that listen to the show. There's a lot of hired drivers, and because I will get into a cab, and then you'll think somebody not in a million years would be listening to you every morning. I put up the radio when I have a passenger so they can listen as well. And there's a lot of Lyft and Uber drivers, and not to mention truck drivers. When you do congestion pricing, and when you write a ticket, and they write tickets for one reason, for revenue.
Exactly.
For revenue.
Pure revenue.
That's all. They don't care that it's any violation. It's just revenue. It's an assault on the middle class and the hardworking man and women. And that's great that you stick up for it. So you go fight them? Is that right?
We fight them, and we also advocate for them. So one of the big things going on right now is Easy Pass, which is Easy Pass is we're all moving toward these cashless tolls. And so in fact, even now the Port Authority did that.
Yeah.
What Easy Pass is, a private corporation, was actually started by folks from Port Authority, and it's a private corporation, and they're structured so that when there are violations, meaning that the tolls don't read for one reason or another, or somebody is behind, they can tack on $50 to $100 a violation.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
So that's the business model. The business model is on fines and fees, not the toll.
That the business model that they came up with?
That's it.
So
that's what it is.
This is the interesting thing. So they got the politicians. They said, there are all these thieves. You read these stories. There's a truck with a phony license plate and things like that. But the majority of these people who get saddled are, look, this is America. People run negative on their credit cards. They don't, or they replace their credit card. They forget to tell Easy Pass
they're having
that
an
there's
off
a new
week
card,
or whatever.
So they may get statement, or then they move. They don't tell the DMV that they moved. And then all of a sudden they find out that they've got tens of thousands of dollars. Then they call Easy Pass, and Easy Pass says, "Oh, you got to pay this, or else you're going to get suspended." No payment plans. No, you can't even get out. So, like I was saying, it's one thing to fall down. It's another thing to have an agency working for the government put its boot on your neck and say you're not getting up.
If I get once a month, I get a notice from Easy Pass saying you didn't pay this. You went through here. Because if electronically something goes wrong, they blame you immediately.
Yeah.
You know, and I got to tell you, people who answer the phones are very nice because they're not as knowledgeable as you would like them to be.
Right.
But they're very, very
By
nice.
design.
Yeah, is that right?
By design, of course.
Is that right?
Of course.
They bring people in that maybe aren't aware of it. Excuse me, I paid the money. Well, you got it, and then you say, "Where did that happen? That wasn't my car." Then you're always wrong. You're on the where you got to prove that. Of course, look, I had nothing to do with it, and they never listen to you at Easy Pass.
And it's even worse because this is why Governor Cuomo wants to change the license plates to make it easier for the cashless tolling to read.
Exactly.
But and as one of the state senators who we had on our show previously, Carlucci, pointed out, well, you never said that. You never said that it could be the plate that was at fault. You always blame the driver.
Yeah, that's right.
So
right.
What are these drivers supposed to do who've been blamed for the last 3 years?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, oh, maybe it's the plates. It's
Yeah.
like, well, you know.
And truckers, I can't imagine what they're going to be because they have to pay. I can't. First of all, we got to go, guys. But the tolls that we have to pay, they keep jacking the tolls up.
They keep and more coming.
Yeah.
More coming. There are a lot projected to go up in the next year or two.
And did you talk about this? And we'll let you go, guys. But we're talking with Arthur and Zach Miller, father-son team. They do New York Truck Stop Radio. Airs Saturday afternoons, 1 p.m. right here on AM 970. The Answer. It's like for them to come up with all this money. Did you ever is there any politician that will kind of defend the trucking industry? There isn't really anybody except for what you guys are doing, correct?
Well, there are some, and really the appeal is, this is commerce, this is business. Goods have to get delivered. The problem is, I think the big money, and I have to say there are a lot of quote unquote advocacy groups that try to paint a picture that cars and trucks are bad, that we shouldn't have cars and trucks. We have to go on a road diet. And all use mass transit or bicycles or things like that, which sounds good until you got to get a refrigerator delivered or something like that.
And that those tolls were put in place to pay for the turnpike, to pay for the parkway, to pay for the and all it does now is pay for the bureaucracy,
right?
The salaries, the astronomical salaries in the Port Authority and all these roadways. Hey, Arthur and Zach, we'll be listening at 1 o'clock on AM 970. The Answer. New York Truck Stop Radio online. Where can we find you?
NewYorkTruckStop.com.
All right, this is great. Keep the fight, guys.
Thanks
for
Absolutely.
thanks for
so
sticking
much.
up for the common man and woman, man. We appreciate that more than we can tell you.